What's good, Washington fans? I mean, nothing really good at all. I've been saying that for the past 3 or 4 weeks, but tough way to go out. I predicted 24-20, a loss, and I was pretty spot on. It came out to being 20-16, so definitely a winnable game. And like I said, the Eagles, they're not that great of a team. Like I said, they beat Trevor Siemian, they beat Jared Goff, they beat Zach Wilson, they beat Garrett Gilbert, they beat Jared Goff and the Lions. They just beating a bunch of backups, kind of like when we won last year. They beating a whole bunch of backups, so it was definitely a winnable game. Scott Turner, we'll get to him. He first half was okay for Scott Turner. The second half was really darn bad. It was really bad. John Bates, he did get tripped up. He did. That should have been a pass interference. It is what it is. But we know the refs aren't going to call that. They want to see this Eagles versus Cowboys matchup, so they want to probably get some money and revenue off that. We know how the game works. We know how that goes. It is what it is on that. Jalen Hurts, he made some incredible throws at times. We couldn't get a lot of pass rush on him, and he was moving around the pocket and made some big throws on third down and third and longs, and we let them convert. And we just can't allow that, man. David Mayo was out there a lot. He was getting cooked a couple times over Jamin Davis. Jamin Davis got his first sack of the year, so congrats to him on that. But Taylor Heinicke, man, he's just a limited quarterback. It is what it is. He's a limited quarterback. He tried. He had a great first half, 7 for 7 to start off. Then the wheels started to run off a little bit. He made some okay throws. Cam Sims, I'm happy for him. He finally gets unleashed. He finally gets utilized. We finally call some plays for Cam Sims. It's about time we wait till the end of the season and really get him involved in the offense. Terry McLaurin got some more targets, but not enough, in my opinion. Jared Patterson played well. I like what I saw from Jared Patterson. I really do. I like what I saw from Jared Patterson. Same thing with Jonathan Williams. Same thing with Wendell Smallwood. For a lot of guys being out, Montez Sweat being out, Antonio Gibson being out, J.D. McKissick, Logan Thomas, all our offensive guys being out. I know Montez Sweat is on the defense, but a lot of our offensive weapons being out. I thought some guys really stepped up and made some plays. But Scott Turner on a 4th and 5, you call a play to, I don't know if he designed it to throw it to Dax Milne, but the play was way too slow developing, and the fact that we went to Dax Milne on a 4th and 5 is inexcusable from an offensive coordinator. It really is. And then 2 plays before that, I want to say it was 2nd down, we do a reverse screen pass to Jonathan Williams that loses 4 yards. So it's like 2nd and 14. Did I mention John Bates had a hell of a game? He played well. He's playing really good football. He might be our best pick. I know Sam Cos out of the 2021 draft class, the best picks out of the class might be it's between John Bates and Sam Cosmi right now for the best guys out of our draft class. And Jared Patterson, who wasn't even a draft pick. De'Ami Brown finally made a catch today. So, and I'm not mad about this loss. It is what it is, because I didn't predict us to win. And we're not playing good football, and the coaches aren't really coaching well either. So there's no point in really getting mad. It was a predictable loss. And when it got down in time, now the defense, they stood up and got some stops. I'll give them some credit towards the second half. They did not allow a touchdown. We held them to a field goal. It was 16-17, then we held them to another field goal. So I do give them some credit for bending and not breaking and allowing a touchdown on those last couple of drives. I do give them credit for that. But yeah, let me go over my notes real quick, man. But yeah, we are mathematically eliminated. We did kind of have a chance. I'm not gonna lie. If we beat the Eagles, we would have the Giants, and the Giants are just terrible. They're not trying to win games. They're not trying to win games right now. We would have been 8-9, and then Kirk Cousins isn't playing right, so we would have had an opportunity for them to lose. And the Falcons would have lost. I think the Falcons lost to Buffalo, so we would have had we would have had more of a chance to make the playoffs than what people thought. But at the end of the day, we already know we would have got into the first round. Who knows what could have happened? But we just know we would have lost in the first round. The Eagles are going to lose in the first round too. So, but it probably is better to get a better draft pick. But we're really not going to move that much up in the draft because we're probably going to beat the Giants. We're going to have to play really, really bad to lose to Mike Glyndon and Jake Fromm and Joe Judge, who has been abysmal as a coach. So it's going to be really hard to do that. But let's get over the game notes. Like I said, the 4th and 5 was awful from Scotty Turner. I want to say it was either 1st and 10 or 2nd and 10. It was really awful from Scotty Turner as well. That screen pass was just terrible. Trying to get too cute there. John Bates made some good catches, and Cam Sims made some good catches. Taylor Heinicke, his stats, his numbers, he was 27 for 36, 247 yards, no touchdowns and no picks. Was sacked 3 times. The offensive line was getting beat like a drum a couple times. Josh Sweat made an impact. I want to say number 58, Avery, he got a sack as well. They were wrecking havoc in the offensive line. Keith Ishmael was getting beat like a drum in the middle. He was. Was it Fletcher? It was number 58 who beat him like a drum and got interior pressure on him. So offensive line was they were playing like bend don't break out there. They did a lot better than what they did against the Cowboys, D-line, but still, it just wasn't good enough. I want to say Charles Lano got beat one time by Josh Sweat. Cornelius Lucas got beat a couple times as well. So the offensive line, I give them probably a C+. They weren't terrible. They did enough to win the game, but they really weren't good enough either. Jared Patterson, 12 carries for 57 yards, 4 yards per carry. I thought he had a great day stepping in, filling in, and a touchdown. I thought he did a heck of a job. That first drive was a really good drive by Scott Turner. It was a really good drive. Really good job by Scott Turner. And I give Scott Turner credit when credit is due, and then when it's not, I bash Scott Turner because he deserves it. He deserves some of this bashing. He really does, man. Heineke, 2 carries for 14 yards. Wendell Smallwood, 4 carries for 12 yards. Terry McLaurin had 7 catches for 61 yards. A lot of underneath stuff. Taylor Heineke's, we know he's limited, so it looks like Scott Turner doesn't even dial up anything for him to throw the ball deep. Once again, Curtis Samuel inactive today. Once again. And we might have to draft another wide receiver and sign another wide receiver. Seriously. We might have to revamp this wide receiver room other than Terry McLaurin once again. Curtis Samuel, of course, is going to come back, but De'Ami Brown, he needs more opportunities. Cam Sims, I would bring Cam Sims back. He's being held back by the offensive coordinator and some of the quarterback play as well. Jared Patterson had 5 catches for 41 yards. That last drive was a good drive, of course, until the end. I was just waiting on what bad is going to happen. Is there going to be an interception? Is there going to be a fumble? Is there going to be a sack fumble like the Kyle Allen versus Cowboys? Is there going to be an interception where Taylor Heineke has gotten lucky with drop interceptions like the Raiders game? He's gotten very lucky with drop interceptions. Rodney McLeod, they didn't show a good angle on that either. The ball might have hit the floor, but of course they didn't show a good angle on the TV. They just didn't care. They wanted us to lose anyway. Cam Sims, 4 catches for 48 yards. Jared Patterson, 5 catches for 41 yards. John Bates, 3 catches for 35 yards. I thought he did a good job today. De'Ami Brown had 1 catch for 25 yards. Adam Humphries had 2 catches for 12 yards. We got to get another wide receiver in here. We just have to. Cole Holcomb, I thought he was flying around a little bit. Now, the Eagles, they converted a lot on 4th downs. They had a 4th and goal touchdown. I think they had they converted on 4th down a couple times. I want to say they had 2 4th and goal touchdowns on us. Boston Scott flying over Kendall Fuller. I thought he should have tried to hit him up high, but it is what it is. On that, Cameron Crowe, 10 tackles. Dallas Goedert, he hurt us again. The catch he had on the sideline, and he flies over to the sideline on the little bench or whatever it's called. Ricky Seals-Jones, I hope he's okay. I heard he's been walking around, so that's good news for Ricky Seals-Jones, who ran into the cameraman. David Mayo, he's just too slow. Kendall Fuller, I thought he did a good job. Some people thought it was a pass interference when he was guarding Jalen Reagor on that 3rd down. That was not a pass interference at all. That's not a pass interference. John Allen, he tried. Corn Elder, I thought he made a good defensive bat down, a deflection on Devontae Smith. I thought Corn Elder made some good plays out there. Bobby McCain, he was okay. He he didn't do anything bad or anything good today, anything special. Casey Toohill, like I said, Jamin Davis got the sack. Cole Holcomb was holding Jalen Hurts up, and then he let him go. I was very upset with that. I was like, bro, I know the rules, but if Jalen Hurts gets out of this and he's holding the ball and then throws the ball downfield for a first down, I would be very upset. Tim Settle, I thought he made some good plays. He made a good defensive stop there. Matt Ioannidis made a good stop on a 4th and 1 in the beginning. I thought we were playing good complementary football in the beginning of the game. The defense was playing good football when we were up 10-0. Of course, we start off 10-0 again, just like we did in the first game. But this 10-0 felt more realistic. It was like the first 10-0 was kind of fluky or fakey because, the ball bounced off of Dallas Goedert's foot and the Atlanta Collins caught the football and ran, it was kind of phony. But this one was more real. It was more of a real 10-0 for real. Joey Slye did a good job. 55-yard field goal. I'm happy. I love Joey Slye. He's a good kicker. I would bring him back. The punter, he did okay for what he only had 1 punt today. I think he did okay. And that's about it for the defense. But yeah, there were some 3rd and longs that we really let Jalen Hurts run around in torches, and then we let him run for a first down as well. There was too many times where it was 3rd and long where we just let him we let him convert, and then the stadium, if you didn't see, the Jalen Hurts is walking out of the tunnel, and then our stadium side falls over almost onto Jalen Hurts' leg. You know how bad that would have been if he really got hurt. That would have been terrible. And the Eagles fans, they fell over and they started taking selfies and pictures with him, kind of like the Dwayne Haskins selfies from 2 years ago. But I look at my notes. Danny Johnson, he got cooked in the beginning by Devontae Smith on one play. David Mayo got cooked by Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts juked him and ran for a first down. Matt Ioannidis had a good 4th and 1 stop. Heineke on that 3rd and 1, he was holding the ball high and threw a beautiful pass at Ricky Seals-Jones. That was kind of like NFL street Taylor Heineke. Taylor Heineke in the first half was really, really good. He was really good. Taylor Heineke threw a terrible interception, but it was called back by a flag. Number 58, Avery had illegal hands to the face on Terry McLaurin. That was a illegal hands to the face. Taylor Terrible reverse by Scott Turner in the first half. I want to say he did it to Dax Milne again. That was just awful, and it was a loss for yards. Eagles went for on 4th and goal, and they got it. Jared Patterson, John Williams, I already talked about they were doing a good job catching the football out of the backfield. They did a good job. Jalen Hurts got a first down on a 3rd and 6. Jack Del Rio versus running quarterbacks. He just struggles. He really does. Nick Sirianni called a timeout trying to ice Joey Slye on a 55-yard field goal, and Joey Slye made the kick. So I like Joey Slye a lot. The clock management at the end of the first half, where we did end up with a field goal, it was 16-7. I had no problem with the way they handled the clock. They did enough. They just needed a field goal because, honestly, I was like, don't force it, don't press because Taylor Heineke could possibly throw an interception. We started with the ball on our own 5-yard line or something like that after the punt, and I was like, yeah, don't force it. Just take what the defense gives you, run the ball a little bit. So I had no problems with the way they handled the end of the first half where they got the field goal. Cam Sims made a nice catch. Jared Patterson had a couple good runs. Wendell Smallwood had a couple good runs where he had the number knocked off of his head. This is the last game as the Washington football team in FedEx Field. This is the last time we will be, because we're gonna get a new name. I want to say in February or January. They were selling 40% off jerseys in the team store. So online there's gonna be a lot of stuff, probably 40% off and 50% off. I don't know if I should try to get it or not. We'll see. Boston Scott on 4th down. I already said that he got the first down. Hurts converted on a 3rd and 14 to Greg Ward. That really hurt. I want to say that was in the first half. That really hurt us bad because we had him on a 3rd and 14. Lane Johnson kept getting false starts. They finally called false starts on him. He's false starting the whole game. They finally called it. But that 3rd and 14 really hurt. I already talked about the terrible reverse call on first down to John Williams by Scotty Turner. 4th and 5, play to Dax Milne was an awful call as well. Terry McLaurin was not open. Nobody was really open on the play at all. We got a good stop on 3rd down to get the ball back, and we held them to a field goal. And Jack Del Rio was calling timeouts. We had one timeout left. We were moving the ball downfield to Jared Patterson on a lot of dump-off passes. We're getting downfield. John Bates had a good catch too. And then Tyler Heineke forces it down the middle of the field, which is just so predictable. The Washington football, we've just been so predictable this year. But we'll get to the team stats here, and then we'll head out. We were 9 for 15 on 3rd downs. That's pretty good, 60%. And the Eagles were 4 for 12. So we actually did a solid job on 3rd down. It's just 4th down where they got us. They were 3 for 4 on 4th downs. We were 0 for 1 on 4th down. Rushing yards, I thought we did a better job. We did way better stopping the run, where we gave up 240 yards in the first game. We gave up 118 this game. So big improvement from 2 weeks ago. Huge improvement. We had 94 yards on the ground, which is not bad, not great either. In the red zone, we were 1 for 3. They were 2 for 2. They had 6 penalties. We had 1, and we lost the turnover battle. Like I said, for the keys to victory, we had to win the turnover battle. And of course, the one turnover we had was at the end of the game. And even that challenge in the beginning with John Williams when he was down, they shouldn't have took the challenge away. They should have knew that was down. They should have reviewed that in the first place anyway. That was just ridiculous by the refs there all around together. And the Eagles won the time of possession battle. So it was clearly a winnable game. And I love Taylor Heineke, man. He has a lot of grit, a lot of heart, legendary Heineke, all that good stuff. But he just doesn't have the arm strength. And he has the mobility and the escapability, but the accuracy and the arm strength and throwing with anticipation, he just doesn't have it. And honestly, I saw Matt Corral get injured. He had a rough first half. But before he got hurt, he was actually playing well, running around and threw a couple first downs before he got injured. It's unfortunate, but honestly, none of these guys, I don't think this class is trash like everybody says it is. I think there's going to be at least 1 or 2 guys that does become a really good quarterback. But honestly, I'd rather go the trade for a quarterback route. If Derek Carr is available, Derek Carr just had another game-winning drive. He had another game-winning drive against the Colts. And the Colts are they're a good team and a good defense. And guess what? Derek Carr leads his team to another victory. So my first option, because Deshaun Watson already said he's waiving his no-trade clause. So if Derek Carr does become available, because, they got a new coach coming in, next year it's just we're a dysfunctional organization too, but the Raiders are very dysfunctional, almost as bad as us. Henry Ruggs and Damon Arnett toting guns, John Gruden getting fired. So they have as much dysfunction as us. So if Derek Carr does request a trade, or if they just want to move on from Derek Carr, I would make a trade as soon as possible. I'd rather trade for Derek Carr than draft Kenny Pickett, or I don't think we're going to be high enough to draft Kenny Pickett. But I'd rather do that rather than drafting Desmond Ridder, Malik Willis, Carson Strong. Carson Strong's going to be like in the second round or whatever. But I'd rather do that. And honestly, you look at this class of Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson. They've both been pretty darn bad. Justin Fields has been up and down and consistent. Mac Jones has been good, but honestly, he's been relying on a tough run game from the Patriots and good defense. You know, the Patriots won a game where Mac Jones only threw 5 passes, and they relied on the run game and their defense to beat the Bills. So Davis Mills arguably has been the best quarterback so far out of the 2021 rookie class. To be honest with the Texans, he's probably had the best crop of games compared to everybody else other than really Mac Jones. Between Mac Jones and Davis Mills, and those guys were out of the top 10, top 12. Justin Fields was 11. Trey Lance was 5. Zach Wilson was number 2, and Trevor Lawrence was number 1. So going the rookie quarterback route, you got to understand the developmental process, and also these guys. It takes a while for these guys to develop. It is what it is. Not everybody's gonna be like Justin Herbert and come out the gate just firing all cylinders, or Kyler Murray. That doesn't always happen. So honestly, this team, I feel like, you know, there's a lot of holes and whatnot, but I feel like Derek Carr, if we get him, Terry McLaurin, add another wide receiver, because I don't believe in Curtis Samuel anymore. He's just not reliable. He is like Paul Richardson. I don't even care if he starts the season off fully healthy next year. I don't want to put my chips and put my confidence on Curtis Samuel being a reliable number 2. I still like De'Ami, but my confidence in him, Derek Carr will make De'Ami Brown a lot better. And I can make a separate video talking about this, because you look at what Derek Carr did with Nelson Aguilar. You look at what Derek Carr is doing with, what's his name, Hunter Renfrow, and Darren Waller is out, and Henry Ruggs is in jail, and what he's had to work with. And now he just beat the Colts in Indianapolis with another game-winning drive. Even though he had 2 picks in the game, he just finds ways to win games. So that's the route that I would rather go. But, you know, like I said, you know, who knows if he becomes available. I do have a feeling he will become available, though. But all right, you guys, Happy New Year, all that good stuff. This was a fun season. Not really fun, but it was fun talking with you guys, interacting with you guys. We still have one more game left against the Giants, which I'm just going to say we're going to win that game because they're just so trash with Mike Glyndon and what's his name, Jake Fromm. They're so bad. But all right, you guys, hell of a football team, man. Peace.